The Ottawa Senators Foundation gives children and youth the opportunity to live life to the fullest by investing in programs that promote physical and mental wellness.
There's a place to go to talk to people who you can trust, who understand what's going on.
It allows kids to learn and grow, helping families deal with life's difficult obstacles.
It was like this feeling of relief, this feeling of comfort that we just knew we were okay and that people would help us.
With support through donation, the Senators Foundation makes a direct impact on the lives of so many each year.
One donor could save 8-9 lives, and just getting that awareness out there is so important.
Tonight, we meet some courageous people and learn how the Ottawa Senators Foundation continues to make a difference.
We don't pay to go. Like, it's just something that they get to go do, and if it's not there, she's not going to go to summer camp.
My name's Craig Anderson, and Ottawa is my community.
This is my community. Ottawa is my community.
Well, 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 look who it is. A familiar face. Curtis Lazar returning to the nation's capital. This time, though, donning a Calgary Flames jersey. And Erik Karlsson, there he is, all smiles before tonight's game and what is bound to be a very special evening. Now, why, you ask? Well, because the Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon officially has begun. Yes, that's a look at the wives and girlfriends of your Ottawa Senators who are standing by eagerly awaiting your calls to collect your donations. As we welcome you inside the Canadian Tire Centre. Hello, everyone. I'm Tessa Bonham, and it is truly an honor to be here with you tonight to host the Ottawa Senators Telethon, a Foundation Telethon, excuse me. Tonight is a very special evening, so snug you up nice and close because you and I have a very unique experience to make a difference in people's lives around the Ottawa community. We're going to be sharing plenty of stories tonight. Here's a little sneak preview of some of them we'll be showing you. Roger Nielsen House is a pediatric palliative and respite care facility helping families and children during very difficult times.
You really walk in the front door and you feel like you're at home.
It's like an oasis.
Tonight, we will meet the Labonte family who rely on the services at Roger Nielsen House to help better the life of their son Campbell. The Organ Project focuses on reducing the number of Canadians on the waiting list for an organ transplant.
Getting that awareness out there is so important.
11-year-old hockey player Brock Chessel is a successful recipient of a liver transplant and is back on the ice playing the game he loves. Sense Campership provides funding to charitable organizations with a successful history of providing summer camp experiences. Two-time cancer survivor Vienna Arbik has the time of her life at Camp Quality with the freedom to do whatever she wants.
I love Camp Quality. It's like the best thing ever.
Project STEP is Ottawa's community response to address the need for drug and substance abuse support for youth in Ottawa.
It was like a punch in the gut because somebody that I knew and that I trusted was selling me something and gave me something he knew could very well kill me.
After surviving a fentanyl overdose, 20-year-old Layla Attar stopped using drugs and is now recovering from addiction. While in school, counselors are educating kids and families on the dangers of substance abuse. So your donation, no matter how big or small, is very important. All you got to do is grab one of these, yes, your phone, and Ian Mendez will tell you exactly how to donate. Let him know, Ian.
All right, that's right, Tessa, and you're going to see some great stories tonight. I think it's a real privilege for me. I think this is about the 9th or 10th time I've been involved in the Sens Foundation Telethon, and it's always a great experience for me. And we're really asking you tonight to open up your hearts and open up your wallet. So here's how you can do it, and you don't even have to pick up your phone to actually talk to somebody. You can just text the word SENS to 45678 to donate $10, or you can text the entire word Senators to 45678 to donate $5. And we're going to make it worth your while, especially if you're a Sens fan. You're going to love some of the incentives we have for you. How about this? An autographed 8x10 and a puck. It's the captain's crew. It's Erik Karlsson. It's Mark Stone. It's Zach Smith. And that's if you donate $500 to just under $1,000. So please, we're asking you to be a part of that tonight. And all throughout the night, I'll be here to remind you how you can donate. I mentioned this is, I think, the 9th or 10th time I've been part of the Sens Foundation Telethon. Leanne Cusack has been part of it for so many years. Unfortunately, Leanne can't be part of it today, but it's so easy for me because my throw, it's still the same. We take it away to Leanne Lang. Leanne.
Thanks a lot for that, Ian. And I thought I'd start things off with a bang because we're going to start with that 2-minute power play right now, brought to you by Mytel. So any donation that you're making over the next 2 minutes, they'll double down. So that money, that $5 becomes 10, that 10 becomes 20. So that's the best time to get in on that. Let's talk about why exactly we're here. And joining us right now is the president and CEO of the Ottawa Senators Foundation, Danielle Robinson. And we're talking about how meaningful this telethon this evening can really be.
It's important for our hockey club and our foundation because, well, the on-ice product, of course, is important for hockey fans, everywhere. So is the off-ice commitment that our hockey club and our foundation makes to this community. It's really important. It's a cornerstone of so much of what we do. And tonight, we really get to share with our fans and people at home how their help helps us make such a difference.
And I think we have an idea of the types of charities, and I know that it's always the game changers and really putting youth into perspective and to what it is that we're doing for them. But there are an enormous amount of programs that people, I think, aren't familiar as to how far the outreach goes.
Yeah, you're right. And so we invest in all kinds of social recreation programs, making sure that kids who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to participate and play get that. One example tonight is our SANS Campership program. Youth alcohol and drug addictions we're hearing about it more and more, opioids and fentanyl. And so Project STEP, we've just completed $1 million gift to that program, and we're going to continue to do that because it just is here, it's real. We need to make sure that we're wrapping our hands around children.
I think also the understanding, we're looking at what happens on the ice, but the true impact of a team like this, of the Ottawa Senators and the foundation itself, is really what makes this community stand out, is just how powerful this charity is.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate because we have people that are so gracious with us and give us so much. And so then we want to demonstrate by ways of our telethon what we are collectively doing together and how we truly are game changers for youth in our community.
Really looking forward to bringing you those stories. You've picked some fantastic families, so looking forward to bringing you their stories and introducing them to you here live tonight. Thank you so much for that, Danielle.
Thanks a lot, Leanne.
In the meantime, we're going to pass things back over to Tessa.
Thank you, Leanne. Coming up, we meet the Chessel family. After 6 months on the organ transplant wait list, Brock Chessel is now cancer-free after a successful liver transplant. Well, fans are making their way into Canadian Tire Centre as an all-Canadian matchup is just an hour away. The Calgary Flames visiting the Ottawa Senators. Now, the Organ Project focuses on reducing the number of Canadians on the waiting list for an organ transplant. Now, when the Chessel family learned that their son Brock had been diagnosed with cancer, their world stopped. Brock is now cancer-free and a successful recipient of a liver transplant. He's back on the ice playing hockey, the sport he loves.
Shocking news from the nation's capital. Senators owner Eugene Melnyk is very ill and in need of help.
Owner Eugene Melnyk is in urgent need of a liver transplant and is making a public plea to find a live donor. He has been battling health issues as
when
far
you're
back
sitting
as
there,
January.
you can't do anything about getting people to donate deceased organs or even live organs. It's a shot in the dark.
He's a go-getter. Lots of energy. There we go. Always pretty happy kid.
We had just signed his AAA hockey contract.
We had just finished 2 full weeks of tryouts, which was right after our season ended. Did not notice any sort of let up or slow down through the tryouts at all.
Saw Brock getting in the shower. Just looked at his frame and knew that there was a little bit of weight loss there. Wasn't really sure what was going on, but significant enough that we took him to the family doctor the next day. When the family doctor said that his liver was enlarged, I had a feeling that there was something going on. We had an ultrasound on the Tuesday, and then that night we were sent to London's Sick Kids. I knew that there was something wrong. I knew that when we were sent to London that there were bigger things in the works. We were admitted, and the following day, on April 26, 2017, he was diagnosed with cancer.
For me, it was just an absolute shock. Overwhelming. As a parent, you don't know really which way to turn, and it just rocks your world as a family for sure.
Originally, he was diagnosed with germ cell carcinoma, and we thought that was very treatable. So we were going to have surgery actually that Friday, and through the scans, it actually showed that it was inoperable. That was quite a difficult thing to hear.
I honestly didn't know what was going on. I just thought, you know, cancer, I might die. But then I thought I could have surgery, but then I couldn't.
It was hard, eh? Yeah, but you took it like a trooper. Yeah. We're very fortunate that our team is very, very close.
The support from the team and the team's families have been incredible. I know it hit a lot of them pretty hard. We've all been on the same team for 3 years. It meant the world to our family, it meant the world to Brock.
When we had gone to Sick Kids in July of the summer, we just went for consultation. Our oncologist was very optimistic that the chemo was still going to work. The tumor wasn't shrinking through the MRI. This was just a backup plan, but we ended up being on the transplant list 2 days later. We were hoping for a live donor, but when we learned that the tumor was encroached all in the plumbing of the liver, it wasn't an option to have a live donor, so we ended up having to go the deceased donor route, and that was scary. You don't have control over anything. You just hope and pray that the liver that is coming is good, but you don't know when it's coming.
A mission statement that is very simple: to save lives through the encouragement of donation of organs for transplantation.
We were so grateful when the liver came. It was 6 weeks to the day that he was put on the transplant list. When the surgeon came out, he had a big smile on his face. I just knew everything was going to be okay. It is an absolute incredible thing that people must do. One donor could save 8, 9 lives, and just getting that awareness out there is so important.
If there's no organ donation people out in the world, the waiting list just gets bigger and bigger.
Attaboy, Brocker, good job.
My surgery was August 23rd, and then my first game was November 10th.
Honestly, I think he's doing just a fantastic job, and it's so fun to watch him get better every game.
We're so grateful that somebody did sign their card. We were picking out cemetery plots, and now we're not. We're sitting here playing hockey.
That line is incredibly powerful. Here's the Chessel family right now. We have Carter and Julie and Brock and Chris and Rhett, so it's great to be able to have you guys here. I do want to mention, because I've followed this story, Brock, a week ago today, it's been 1 week that you had your final surgery to remove the port, so really giving you that freedom, that no longer reminder with your body that there's treatments being done. How are you feeling a week out now?
Feeling good. You know, I mean, after the surgery I was a little, woozy, but now it feels like when the port's out, it just feels like at the end of the cancer chapter, so.
It is, it's the end of the chapter. Was it emotional for you at that time, knowing that after that surgery it was behind you?
A little bit, you know, I just put it back in the back of my head and focus on the future, so.
It's remarkable that you can focus on the future, and it was very touch and go, because you first have a diagnosis of the cancer and then realizing just how far it had spread and the reality of needing the organ. So what was it like to go through the mix of cancer and then organ donation all within a couple of weeks?
It's incredible. You go through the emotions as a parent of having stage 4 cancer, and then you have a transplant. They're two totally separate things, but very huge things. So mixed emotions. It's hard to deal with both at the same time.
When you were able to deal with one and then realize that one successful start and process was then going to launch into hopefully the other being cleared, it was almost like a domino effect at that point.
It was, and we were so grateful that it was the domino effect, because that's really what saved his life, was the liver transplant.
What was that like for you when you're there waiting and in surgery, knowing that there's a new liver, this is the chance at life? What was that like for you waiting for those hours?
Well, yeah, it's mixed emotions, because you're so relieved that there's a hopefully an answer, but you go through that waiting process and you don't know, right? And just to have that option, to know that there's a donor, and hopefully this is going to be the answer we're looking for. It's such a, it's just a roller coaster.
It's the roller coaster, but someone had signed a card, someone had donated, and that's really the emphasis right now, is that you're saving lives. People are saving lives by donating, and that's the message you really want to put forward with this organ project.
Absolutely. We are so grateful that somebody did sign their card. And we know that this is a must for every single person in Canada, every single person in the U.S., really every single person in the world, because Brock wouldn't be here unless somebody did sign their card.
He's here. He's doing incredibly well, and he's sporting. I asked, is this a note to Don Cherry? But no, this is your personal style.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was just looking at suits for, I think, wasn't it the gala that we went to?
Yeah.
And I saw this cool suit on oposuits.com, and I saw it, and ever since I've been that kind of style.
I think you're going to make an impact everywhere you go, Brock. It is so nice to meet you, and wishing you all the best of luck. What a great inspirational story, and someone had been able to donate their organs. All right, we're going to throw things over to Ian Mendes now.
Leanne, thank you very much. Joined now by the owner of the Ottawa Senators, Eugene Melnyk. And Mr. Melnyk, before we get to you, we would like to announce we're on a power player. First one of the night, brought to you by Mytel. So tell you what, in the next 2 minutes, Mytel is going to match any donation made if you give us a phone call right now. Eugene Melnyk, we just saw a really inspiring story about the organ project. It's been 3 years since you went through that. Maybe tell our viewers a little bit about the process of going through a liver transplant.
Well, it's a little time-consuming, but the most important thing that happens during is, first of all, the diagnosis. Somebody determines that you cannot be helped by medication. You're going to need to replace your organ, and that's when a transplant comes in. Once they have taken you through a battery of tests to determine whether you can actually handle a transplant operation, then comes the search for an organ. And that's where the organ project comes in. There is a huge hole in trying to obtain organs for transplantation. People die every year, like thousands die every year from waiting in line because there are no organs available. Yet there's an opportunity for everyone to sign up, register that upon death they can donate their organs. And that is where the tough part starts, and that's the waiting for months, possibly years, to obtain that organ. And once they have that, professional physicians that have done literally hundreds and hundreds of transplants take over and begin the process of a transplantation operation.
You mentioned the organ project, and that's a big part of our show tonight. Tell our viewers more about the organ project and what you are trying to accomplish.
What we're trying to accomplish, and I have to give a round of applause for the people at our foundation, the Senators Foundation, who are helping us. We're trying to get as many people registered to upon death, they would donate their organs, and that's the bottom line. We can use them. It's pointless to take them with you, and we're trying to just get people to register that they can actually give those up. It sounds simple, yet we're trying every day to get people to register, because it's not easy to get people to do that. We're being successful by a whole bunch of different tactics, things that we're doing here at the arena, through the Sens Foundation, through direct interaction with our fans, and it seems to be working. We've had great success over the last 2 years. I just recently read that organ transplantation is up 40%. And that just didn't happen by magic. It happened by hard work by the Organ Project people to get that accomplished.
Eugene Melnyk, really appreciate your time. Our power play with Mytel is all done. Thanks for this. Hopefully your power play is effective tonight against the Calgary Flames.
Thanks very much.
Is what we're going to give you if you're able to open up your heart, open up your wallet. There's lots of incentives for you. That's how you can donate. And if you can spend $500 or more, how about a captain signed puck? Mark Stone, Zach Smith, Eric Carlson, an 8x10 player, picture of a player as well. Some great incentives for you to help out here with the Sens Foundation Telethon. Tessa.
Thank you very much, Ian. All right, coming up, we'll introduce you to one of the many programs the Ottawa Senators Foundation supports. Sens Campership helps provide Vanna Arbic the ability to attend summer camp and make some new friends along the way.
I think the opportunity for kids to go to camp, that's kind of my summer. I'm up on the lake all summer, and types of activities they're doing, I do on a regular basis. It's great to get outdoors and enjoy nature, and I think we're really blessed with the landscape we have in Ontario, and there's so many amazing things you can do around here, and it's great to get outside and enjoy Mother Earth.
Well, Sens Campership provides funding for a charitable organization with a successful history of providing summer camp experiences. 2-year cancer survivor Vienna Arbeck has the time of her life at Camp Quality. Now it provides kids with lifelong network that supports both growth and success.
They were doing a practice drill and somebody backed up into her and she fell backwards flat on her head. As soon as she got up, she was seeing double.
I went inside on the bench and I was just like feeling really weird and my head was really hurting and I was almost feeling sick.
Just took her right to the hospital. She was still in her ear.
I almost felt like something was wrong.
After about 10 weeks of symptoms not going away, we took her to the hospital. Every time we took her back, they just kept saying it was post-concussion syndrome. So we finally got them to do an MRI, and then they found out she had like a grapefruit-sized tumor in her head, which is from birth. It's just, we found it then. We had no idea she had a brain tumor, and had she not got the concussion, we would never have known. The tumor was big, so she was probably pretty close to having too much pressure on her brain. You have no time to process anything. You go in, they tell you what she has, and within 5 days she's having major brain surgery. And in that whole time period, you don't know what's going on. The surgery was really hard because it was 5 hours, and it can go either way with that. Then she started chemo, which was another whole battle. You don't know at that point if they're even going to survive it, because brain cancer is really, really tough. It's a hard cancer. But her tumor was just in the center of her head, so we were lucky it didn't go to any ventricles. We were really lucky.
There was a lot of pain when I started chemo and everything, and I'm like, okay, I didn't really know what was going to happen at first. Not exactly the best time in your life.
She has a shunt in the back of her head, which gets rid of the spinal fluid to go into her stomach. And there was one cell that was active, and it went into her stomach and stayed dormant for about 1.5 years. Her belly started to swell, and she started getting nausea a lot. Started some treatment to help her grow, because she can't grow normally, and it just made the cell grow. She had about 11 tumors in her stomach by that point, by the time we found out she had cancer again. That was worse because she was sicker that time, because it was more invasive. It was all over her whole stomach. So that was a little scarier than the first time, because we thought it was done. It's not a common, like, it's never happened before. So they didn't even know how to treat her. So at that point we were more worried about her not surviving this, because they don't have a protocol for it.
I was really shocked that I got cancer again, when I was just like, okay, this is done. The first time I'm like, okay, I'm cleared, I'm done. This is not going to happen again.
You got mad at the doctors. She actually told them, better fix it this time, because I'm not coming back here. It was funny, actually. They didn't know what to say. They were just speechless.
I couldn't handle that alone with all the people, and especially my mom being there for me was big. It was really big. People coming to see me almost every day, pretty much. I loved when I can, because it just made me feel better. When I was upset, it's just like, okay, I have someone, and it takes my mind off cancer. We were at the hospital, and Marilyn Cassidy came up to me and she said, we have this wonderful camp. When Vienna's finished her treatment, she said it's great because they can go and just get a break and be normal.
Our goal at Camp Quality is just to give these kids some fun, to take their thoughts away from the medical side of things, just to be able to go and be kids in an environment that allows them to be just themselves.
At Camp Quality, I like to make sure that she's having fun by allowing her to do what she wants to do. It gives her such great memories. I think she really enjoys it.
The Sens' contribution or support of us it's amazing.
The Sens Campership program allows the kids to experience things that they wouldn't normally experience, and it gives them something to think about other than what they're going through.
As a bunch of volunteers, we don't have a whole lot of fundraisers, so the fundraising that we do is all organic. It's brought in by foundations like this for support, and it just means less time that we have to spend raising money, more time we get to spend putting together a program for the kids.
we don't pay to go. Like, it's just something that they get to go do, and if it's not there, she's not going to go to summer camp because she can never go to a regular summer camp. At least I can go and I don't have to worry. She doesn't have to worry, I don't have to worry. It's fun, and all the kids have a common thing. They've all had cancer. So when they go there, they've all got something in common. They know each other's limitations.
You want campers to experience it the way Vienna experiences camp.
I love Camp Quality. It's like the best thing ever.
Well, Vienna and Sherry are joining us here in studio, and Vienna gets to see her camp director. Glenn is joining us as well from Camp Quality. We just calculated we've got 5 months and 2 days before you go to Camp Vienna. Are you excited?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so excited.
Well, for you, what is it that you get excited for? Is it the kids? Is it the sense of freedom? What do you love about being there?
Oh, it's everything. Everything. I get to see my friends, the activities, the people are just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Sherry, it's the sense of being worry-free, of knowing that there's doctors, there's people on hand who know what Vienna has been through, and that you feel good with her being away.
Of course, she can't go to a regular camp because I would be worried if anything happens to her. She has to have medical care right away. So it's nice that I know she can go there. She has some freedom away from me, and she can enjoy herself, just be with her friends, and they're not in an environment where they're all sick.
You know what, and Sherry, we had a chance to talk, and we were talking about even her grade 3 teacher and the people who have really stepped up, her teammates, the school, in being a part of this journey. But unless you're living it and know it, you can't really experience it. And so for you, knowing this environment, it has been a huge part of your lives now, having this experience.
Oh, yes. It's, you know what, she finally gets to be a kid again after about 3.5 years of just going through hospitals and being sick and everything else. They can just go and enjoy themselves.
You see these kids in a very different light.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine what it's like for what the pain and the suffering and the hardships they've endured, and then to see them kind of blossom and come alive again at camp. What's that like?
Yeah, we get to see them get on a bus as a first-timer, scared, nervous, but excited at the same time. But then by the end of the day, they've met new friends. The smiles on their faces are awesome, and they're tired, and they go to bed and do it all again the next day.
They're experiencing everything a kid does at camp.
Yeah.
I want to just put a little emphasis on, these are children who have been through so much, and emotionally, what's it like for you to have experienced and get to know kids that sometimes don't get an opportunity to come back?
Yeah.
Is that the reality of what illness, of what it is that we're trying to fight each and every day?
Very rare. We see it once in a while, but the kids coming back year after year, that's the neat thing, and they're always welcome until they're 17 or so. So we've had some kids that have been there for 10 years, which is really awesome to see them grow.
And they get to grow and blossom and see each of these kids and be able to share their stories. 5 months, 2 days, Vienna. You're back at camp. Lots of bug spray, okay? Yeah. I love this, Mel. Thank you so much. Just one of the many places that are able to benefit from Camp Quality. 1,500 kids Ottawa Senators have sent there over the last year. All right, Ian, we're going to throw things back over to you.
All right, Leanne, thanks so much. What a terrific story. And joined now by Steve Spooner, the Chief Financial Officer with Mitel, the title sponsor for our foundation tonight. And we're going to kick off a power play here. So for the next 2 minutes, Mitel is going to match your donation. So pick up your phones, give us a call, and Steve Spooner's with me. Obligatory first question you have to ask anybody named Spooner in this town. Are you related to New York Rangers forward Ryan Spooner?
Certainly whenever I'm trying to get into a Boston game or maybe a New York Rangers game now. But no, he's not, although he did go to the same high school as our kids did.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Mitel's involvement here. Why is this event so important for you?
You know, Mitel, our employees really love to get behind any charitable cause that supports children and, the health and welfare of children. And, it's just our honor to partner with the Sands Foundation, looking at some of the programs that they support, such as Roger Nielsen House, for example, looking after kids when they really need it and helping out their families. It's a cause that Mitel employees really embrace.
All right, so we're trying to get these phones working. You can see there's a little bit of time left here on the power play. And let's talk a little bit about the corporate culture that you're trying to establish at Mitel, and you really encourage volunteering.
We do. In fact, this year Mitel will be celebrating our 45th anniversary. And in Ottawa here, we have over 500 employees, nearly 4,000 worldwide. And on June 8th, our 45th anniversary, we will actually be under a new program that we're sponsoring called Mitel Serves. employees around the world in all our locations will be taking the day off to support the local charity of the local office preference. So that's just an example of the kinds of things that the Mitel employee family does to support their communities.
All right, as we wrap up here, we see the final 15 seconds of the power play. Give us a call right now. Mitel will match your donations really quickly. In the arena tonight, Steve, there's going to be some Mitel employees helping out.
Yes, we have roughly 25 of the local Ottawa Mitel team here. They'll be passing buckets around to collect cash in the stands tonight to augment what the phone pledges and donations.
Terrific stuff. Steve Spooner, we really appreciate Mitel's support in this event tonight.
It's our pleasure. Thank you, Ian.
All right, Tessa, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Ian. Well, the Ottawa Senators have hit the ice. Warm-up is underway. This all-Canadian clash is set to happen in under half hour's time. We'll have it all. Well, Erik Karlsson's in a giving mood, taking a selfie with a fan tonight. We hope all of you are too on this Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon evening. As the Senators get set to take on the Calgary Flames, who are 3 points back of a playoff spot, so the Senators are going to be looking to play spoiler tonight as they welcome back a former teammate in Curtis Lazar. Now, we had Britt Smith answering phones earlier for the Telethon. She's been busy, so we might as well get Zach Smith busy too. He's standing by with Brent Wallace.
Zach, the Ottawa Senators Foundation doesn't exist without the team and more specifically the players. What's it been like as a player to keep giving back to the community through the foundation?
Well, Ottawa's, it's the only place I've played that I'm aware of, but I think it's a well-known fact that the team and does a lot for this community and gives back a lot, and our players are always at the forefront of that too, so it's good to see and it's good to be part of.
You always put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. Your wife Brittany's on the board of the Sens Foundation. You quietly go about going to Rogers Nielsen's house, talking to the kids. What's that do for you as a player to see the work that you're able to do in the Sens Foundation?
It's a great opportunity, great platform, and for the little work that we do, it means a lot to some of the kids and some of the parents who are, going through tough times. So it's a very fortunate position we're in, and we're just happy to give back.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate this.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, gentlemen. We hear about Layla Attar's troubled journey through drug addiction and how she has overcome it and the benefit of in-school counseling. Well, the fans are ready as we get set for tonight's all-Canadian clash between the Calgary Flames and the Ottawa Senators. On a very special evening, the Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon taking place right now. Please get on your phones and open your wallets and donate. We're going to explain how. Ian, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Tessa. And as we look at it here, this is exactly what you could potentially get as a donor incentive. How about this? An autographed puck, 8x10 portrait. We talked about this. Erik Karlsson, Mark Stone, Zach Smith. You just saw Zach Smith in conversation with Brent Wallace ringside. How about we keep this all in the family? And we're going to kick off a Mitel power play with Zach Smith's wife, Brittany Smith, joining me here. It's a power play. So for the next 2 minutes, Mitel will match the donations. I got to ask you this first question. We're doing a 2-minute power play. I'd love to know who spends more power play time tonight, you here or Zach Smith, your husband, on the ice?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Probably me on the power play. He usually plays PK, so yeah.
Exactly. He's trying to foil the other team's power play. So, Brittany, let's talk a little bit about your role with the Ottawa Senators Foundation, and you're sitting on the board now.
Yeah, so I took over for Kate Neal. So I'm sitting on the Sens Foundation board, which is a huge honor and privilege. I feel like I have big shoes to fill coming after Kate and Chris. They're huge in the community, and they still are. So, and that's something that Zach and I are really interested in doing as well. So.
Yeah, and as we look at your husband on the ice here for the pregame warm-up, the two of you have really laid your roots in this community. You were just telling me, and you announced this on social media, so I'm not breaking any news here, but you're 20 weeks pregnant. And do you really feel like this is home for you and Zach?
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is the only thing we've ever known. This is the only team that Zach's ever played on. So, yeah, this is all we've ever known. We've made our roots here. We love Ottawa. We love everything about this city. So I think it's just important to give back to a place that we love so much and just to improve it and continue to make it better. All
right, as we get into the final minute of this power play again, Mitel will match your donations at any point here in this power play as we got to get your the wives and girlfriends working here. Tell us a little bit about the camaraderie amongst the wives and girlfriends of the Ottawa Senators players as we see them working the phones here?
It's amazing. We have such an amazing group of girls. I can't say enough about them. They're always willing to give back and help out in the community, and this is just one of those things. As you can see, we had 10 girls tonight interested in answering phones, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of the group that we have here.
Well, you're doing a terrific job. Brittany Smith, thank you very much for being a part of this power play as we wrap it up here, and thanks for this, Brittany. And Tessa, we're going to throw it back to you.
Thank you very much, Ian. Well, Project STEP is Ottawa's community response to address the need for drug and substance abuse support for youth. Now, after surviving a fentanyl overdose, 20-year-old Layla Attar has stopped using drugs and is now recovering from addiction. Now, while in school, counselors like Nick Delroy are educating kids and families on the dangers of substance abuse.
My chest was really heavy, and it was like a cold feeling everywhere, and my breath was really slow. It just didn't feel right. It felt like I was very close to being gone. I ended up confronting the guy, and I asked, well, was it lace? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, was it fentanyl? And he said, yeah. That horrible experience was why I stopped, and that's what's led me to here. My name is Layla Attar. I'm 20 years old, and I'm a person recovering from addiction. I started using when I was about 15 or 16. I was dealing with bullying happening at school, family problems at home. My parent had ended up confronting me about smoking marijuana, told me to pack my bags, just dropped me off at a bus stop. I went to a homeless shelter, and then that lasted for about a week as well, and then got kicked out of there. It's dehumanizing. The shelter experience in itself is very cold and not very warm. It's like a 16-year-old who's kind of like lost their way. And then going from that to being like kicked out in the middle of the night to actually being homeless and like needing to like go to a forest to spend the night was the most terrifying experience of my life, probably. That led me to using opiates and painkillers, and that lasted for basically 3 years of my life, which were pretty much a blur. In November of 2016, I was buying Percocets off of somebody at work. One night I ended up going home and I just took a couple of pills, and I don't remember what happened after that. It was like a punch in the gut because somebody that I knew and that I trusted was selling me something and gave me something he knew could very well kill me. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, so it's 50 to 100 times more powerful than heroin and morphine, and basically right now it's in all of the drug supply in the black market, and it's poisoning people.
Fentanyl use is a whole different animal. Part of the reason that this is so dangerous is that people are finding this very difficult to predict the dose that they're getting. My name is Nick Delroy, and I'm a school-based counselor for Readerwood Addiction and Family Services. Today's youth are exposed to a lot of dangers and pitfalls that are new, and they're constantly evolving. Unfortunately, a lot of the stakes have increased significantly. If I don't know what it is that I'm using or the potency of the drug that I'm using, with a drug that doesn't cause overdose so easily, that might not be as big of a deal as it is with fentanyl, where a very, very small amount, in fact, even smaller than the naked eye can see, is enough to kill me. It's a very delicate process, especially at the beginning of counseling, to welcome a student in there and give them the impression, in a way that is authentic, that this is a place that they can talk, and that they can talk about any of the things that they need to talk about. They're wondering if I'm going to be somebody else that tells them what to do, or somebody else that gives them advice that they don't want. If I add confidentiality into that and really give them the impression that this is their space to fill up with whatever they need to talk about, that's a big seller for these students.
I think things probably would have been a lot different had somebody been there to talk or educate or whatever. I feel like a lot of the paths that I'd chosen and a lot of the things that I've got myself into wouldn't have happened the way that they did, and I probably could have avoided a lot of pain from it. My goals in life are to help people, one, that are struggling, and to give a voice to those that don't have it. And I think a lot of that's going to involve like public speaking and just reaching out as much as I can and pursuing an education that'll allow me to help people going forward in the future as well.
There's a place to go to talk to people who you can trust, who understand what's going on, and who have something to offer if you need help. Project STEP is hugely important for the community of Ottawa. Without the funding that we're getting through Project STEP, that we would be crippled in our ability to provide these services to youth in the city.
I'd say that Project STEP is so important in Ottawa and for kids overall, just because for 8 hours a day you've got kids in this one environment that you really have a great place to intervene, and it's important to catch it when it's early. It's easier to break the habit when you're 16 as opposed to 45, and I think it's really important to know that there's somebody out there who gets it, because when you're a young person and you feel like the whole world's against you as it is, and then you've also got an addiction that you're hiding from it, it makes things really hard. No one should have to suffer alone.
And Nick and Layla are joining us here in studio. Nick had mentioned the funding. The Ottawa Senators Foundation providing $1 million in funding to Project STEP, something I think, Layla, you wish had existed or had the opportunity to use when you were younger.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, something I've recognized and I realized from my own experience is that addiction has this great ability to kind of cut you off from everyone and make you feel like you're completely isolated in the world. So looking back on it, and I ask myself, like, what did I need? And I needed somebody that I knew I could talk to and trust, and that I could be open with about the pain that I was carrying.
And we talk about this open communication, this trust, and I think for you, Nick, this is the essence of getting to the root right off the bat, is having this open communication with these students.
Absolutely. That's the biggest resource that we have when talking to students, is the ability to build that trust and to get a chance to speak into somebody's life when they might not be letting other people in is invaluable to students these days.
I was shocked by the number, but 7,700 students were helped just last year by Project STEP. Should we be surprised by that number, or that's the reality that we're facing, that this number, our youth, are dealing with this problem every day?
I'm not sure about being surprised. I think that's a good number. I'd like to see that number increase even more. I think that we could make a far bigger dent on the problem in the schools than we are now. It's a good number.
It's a good number because they're reaching out, but you're saying that there are more kids out there who are dealing with this issue that need to be able to talk to someone, more than the 7,700 that are out there.
Yeah.
That's a scary realization of the need.
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
There's the opportunity to talk, and you're talking in a very different format now. How has the healing process worked for you, being open about the story and sharing your story?
Yeah, I think the healing process and kind of being able to share things for me is just basically me taking back my story and owning it. And for so long, you know, I got called so many names, and every name in the book I can think of, by peers and family and all this stuff. So for me to just tell my story and own it and be open with my vulnerability and hope that I can do good for someone is just, it's the most empowering and healing thing.
You talk about the empowerment of it. Each day that you're further away, you feel more empowered about the life you have ahead of you.
Absolutely. I mean, we all have good days and bad days, but each day I just thank myself that I am who I am today and that I made it through.
It's great to have you and see you in this light. And Nick, thank you for the work that it is that you're doing with the students each and every day. All right, we have the mayor in town. He's here tonight, and he's standing by with Brent Wallace.
Thank you very much. Joined now by the mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson. And your worship, I guess, what's it mean for this community to have an NHL team where they give back so much to the Sens Foundation?
Well, it really is unbelievable. We're blessed to have an NHL team. We're proud of the Senators. Equally proud of them on the ice, although this year's been a bit of a challenge, to be honest. But off the ice, the work that they do, whether it's at Rogers House, we developed a great program with them, the Sens Rink program. And it's to bring beautiful rinks into underprivileged neighborhoods. We just opened one up in the south end of the city. It's been such a huge boost to that community. We have the original rink that's refrigerated at City Hall. It's still open to this day. The canal may be closed, but you can come down and skate at City Hall at the Sens Rink of Dreams.
I guess you've been to so many of these events. How is it that this community is able to keep things going with the Sens Foundation? They tie in so well to everything that you guys try and do here.
Well, I think, you know, one of the stats I heard a little while ago by a former mutual friend of everyone's, Max Keeping, he said that we donate more per capita and we volunteer more per capita than any other city in Canada. So when the Sens Foundation was started, it was off to a really good start for the simple reason that we're a generous community. We recognize the money stays locally, whether it's the camp program, Rogers House, the visits to CHEO, the rink program. It's a really great partnership with the city and the people of Ottawa.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. We'll see you down the rink outside City Hall.
All right, thanks, Brent. Take care.
Ian?
Thank you very much, Brent. Coming up, the Labonte family look to bring quality of life to their son Campbell, whose life is limited. The Roger Nielsen House provides the family endless amount of support.
We're very fortunate to have Roger Nielsen House in our community. I think there's a lot of communities out there that would love to have a facility like that, and for us to be a part of it is huge. The top-notch care that we're able to give them as a community and as a hospital towards the kids that need it is unbelievable.
Well,
Roger Nielsen House is a pediatric palliative and respite care facility helping families and children during difficult times. Now, Joanna and Bert Labonte are the parents of 9-year-old Campbell, who has cerebral palsy and is deaf and blind. Now, the Labonte family rely heavily on the love and care at the Roger Nielsen House to help better their son's life.
Yeah, that's a winner. That's a big belly laugh. That was a big belly laugh.
I remember the nurse was taking us around and showing us all the different spaces here.
You really walk in the front door and you feel like you're at home.
It's like an oasis.
Ooh. Yeah.
Looking good. Tammy's inaugural ride.
Campbell is 9 years old, and he's a wonderful little guy. He has a smile that would light up the world. Campbell was born premature at 24 weeks. Campbell is deaf and blind, and he has cerebral palsy. The wild ride started right away. We spent quite a lot of time in hospital just to get Campbell well enough to come home.
We had no clue we were living in a whole different world. Definitely an absolute shock to us.
A very scary time. It takes constant care and 24 hours a day to make sure he's all right.
Well, he can't tell us what's wrong with him, so it's a guessing game. We just hope that we guess right.
His life is limited, and so that alone, every day is scary. Quality of life, that's our main aim with our son. That's why we do these things like go swimming and ride motorcycles and do those things with our son, because we know his life is short and we want to give him every gift we can give him. Pain and symptom management is a huge component and something that Roger Nielsen House offers here. And I don't know how we do it without them, because when he's in pain, it's a very, very scary time. You're at home and it's 2 a.m. and you don't know how to help your son and you're terrified, and you just pick up the phone and you call Roger Nielsen House and they help. When you're raising a child that is nonverbal and that is deaf and blind and that can't communicate with us, trust is so important. And the people we leave our son with, we need to be able to trust them 100%. And we feel that here at Roger Nielsen House. They've taken every stride to try to understand what deaf blindness is and how they can help Campbell in that way, not just with his pain and symptom management, but with his activities and the resources that they provide here.
Caring for a medically fragile child is a lot of work, both emotionally and physically, and it'll allow his parents to have a little bit of a break, but also allowing Campbell to have normalized childhood experiences. Getting him to touch something, he'll make a facial expression whether he likes it or doesn't, and once you find something that he loves, you'll get really big, deep belly laughs and giggles that just, you know you've hit the right spot.
It gave us a resource that we could use that we never thought we had before, so it was life-changing for sure.
It was like this feeling of relief, this feeling of comfort, that we just knew we were okay and that people would help us.
It was a big endeavor to get it started. We have a sidecar modified for Campbell.
When we drive along and Cam's in his sidecar with his big orange mohawk and we're all on the bike and you see all these children looking and in awe and saying, cool, cool.
You come to a stop and you take off again and he'll big smile.
It's kind of a flip from what we're used to, right? Usually Cam's in his wheelchair and it's not that same look that we get. So when he's cruising on the Harley, it's a whole different thing. Yeah, he's the man.
I love having Joanna and Bert as kind of partners in Campbell's care, where they can kind of let me know what they see at home and things he likes to do, and I can kind of work with that to provide the same stuff here and go above and beyond. It really gives you perspective on what matters in life and how you can help people. Last summer we provided 3 weeks of camp to families. We adventured to different places and got to do different activities with the kids for the full day, and it really gave them that camp experience that all children should get to experience.
If there's no summer program available in the city, what do we do? Does our son just sit at home with a care provider and not really interact with the community? What Roger Nielsen House is offering is a chance for him to be social with his peers.
To have that opportunity to go to the camp, to be with kids he knows, be with staff that he knows, it's truly amazing.
He can be a kid at this camp.
Obviously, there's hard days, there's good days, but at the end of the day, no matter what the day looks like, we're really helping families that deserve the help, and we get to meet these kids and they really just change our lives for the better.
Well, I've definitely made a new friend with Campbell, and we also have Bert and Joanna Labonte joining us here. And it was an interesting statistics because there were 25,000 days of care since Roger Nielsen's House opened in 2006, and some of those days have been incredibly crucial for your family. It's been an important part of your life.
It really has. I mean, we think about Roger Nielsen House and where we would be without them. I can't even imagine, you know, so many years ago when we felt lost, alone, and afraid, if we didn't have Roger Nielsen House in our lives, it would be a very different scenario. So we are just so thankful that we can be a part of such an important program.
You're both military, you know, and so there's always that sense of where are we off to next? And this has almost been for you the family, the extended family that you really needed, the staff, the people who know your son just as well as you do.
It's a huge family, huge extended family, and we feel very comfortable with them at Roger Nielsen House.
There's the comfort level.
Absolutely.
And I'm learning a lot right now, just through the sensory, through touch. I mean, Campbell knew we were going to a hockey game tonight because he had the sense of the Spartacat, you know, mascot to hold on to. Even the mohawk, to know that he was going for a ride in, you know, on the motorcycle. These are things that you've had to learn along the way and have learned with those people that are caring for him as well there.
That's true, and through resources like Canadian Deaf Blind Association, we've been able to integrate communication skills for Campbell into his everyday life. In fact, Roger Nielsen House was open to bringing in communicators, interveners, to teach them how to communicate with Campbell while he's at the home. And that's such a reassuring and feeling for us. We can really trust them because we know they're trying very hard to communicate with him while he's there.
You've also had the ability to communicate with other families. It seems that it is such a unit, depending on what the families are really going through and their need for Roger Nielsen's House, but do you have that sense as well that there's an understanding between the families that you're bonded in a very unique way?
It's a bond like none other. Really, really is. We have some seats filled with some friends from Roger Nielsen House upstairs and cheering on Campbell tonight and cheering on all the kids tonight that are here to raise money for the Sens Foundation. And that is the best feeling, to know that these people are here to support us the way we want to support them.
Absolutely. And I think Campbell's thrilled to experience all of this and to have some of the staff with him as well. So it was a pleasure to meet you and to know the ways of which you're benefiting from Roger Nielsen's House. Campbell, it was a pleasure. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Here we go. It's a big night ahead.
It's a big night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to throw things back over to Tessa, standing by at the rink.
Thank you, Leanne. Yes, so the Ottawa Senators Foundation Telethon has been up and running for an hour now, so obviously we have to check in on how we've been doing. I got my buddy Toby Olmstead here, plays for the Golden Knight. What's up, Toby? This is our total. We've got $31,290 in the first hour. How awesome is that? Very good. I know, but we've got to keep going, right?
Yep.
All right, everyone, pick up your phone. It's easy. Just pick up, text, call, whatever it may be. All right, when we come back, it's the Senators hosting the Calgary Flames. Puck drop around the corner. Sens beat up the Flames 6-0 in their first meeting. Puck drop next.